So, it's Saturday, the 11th of May 2024, about 5:15, and I've just finished a long hard day here at St Thomas House. Jules and I filled that skip yesterday, taking a lot of detritus, such as the ceiling, from the suspended ceiling, the panels from that, and rubble, which I will explain very shortly, because this is kind of a spot the difference session today, as which I'll talk through, so I'm not going to leave you having to guess everything. But those panels have now gone. It turned out they were very easy to bring out, simply by levering up from the bottom, drawing forward and then bringing out easily enough. They're on the skip, so that's good. And we have a stupendous amount of rubble here. Didn't think there was this much, I'll be quite honest, and there's already more in the skip as well. But I'll come to that extremely shortly. The suspended ceiling, apart from those aluminium spars that you can see, has now completely come down, but you can really get a sense of the grandeur of the building, despite the additional joinery which was there as a supporting structure to support to hold the suspended ceiling up. So Jules and I constructed this handy scaffold, which is pretty heavy. You can drag it around by yourself, but yeah, I'm appreciative of its weight and its strength, actually, which we built together so that rather than having the terrifying experience of crawling around on those boards and bringing the ceiling down that way, it was a case of running the ladder up across those beams that you can see, what the 4x2s, and cutting the wires and bringing it down. I was a little bit hesitant as I started from this end, working my way through towards the choir end, because as it came down, it swung towards the war memorial that you can see. And my big fear was that if I carried on doing that, it was going to go crashing into it, potentially causing damage, which is one thing I do not want to happen. So it was a case of manoeuvring the platform and starting to work from the far end and working backwards again, which kind of, well, not kind of, it definitely did work. But part of that process meant moving two of these, I don't know what you call them actually, but they're, I don't know what you call them. Yeah, if you know what they are, but leave it in the comments. I'd be keen to find out. But there were two that went, ran from this pillar across to that pillar and left the central aisle through to the altar open. And the original plan was that the two semicircles of raised concrete and stone, and you can just make out over here the border where it was, and goes all the way around. And Jules and I have been working on that. What did we do? About 5 hours last Friday, about 5 hours yesterday, and just me today, clearing the last of it. But my goodness me, there was a lot of it. It's taken me all day. But the big reveal really was seeing this original step again after all this time. Not much in the overall scheme of things, but it pleased me at least to see it. So that's where we're up to now. We've, stripping out, I suppose, is more or less complete. And now in a position to negotiate a start with the roofers, who will, start making their own mess. But if I can get that lot cleared, or that rubble cleared away before they start, that's just going to be a bonus, but not essential, to be quite honest. The weather's been fine for the last few days, so I'm planning on getting on the roof tomorrow of the tower to start work with the trying to seal it all up and make it waterproof, stop the leaks up there at least. So there we are for the time being, just a fairly short update really. And I have to confess, I am knackered. I'm looking forward to getting home, having a shower, and hopefully having a relatively steady night of it. But I'm really pleased with what I'm looking at with the ceiling, the roof. You can see the light coming through that way. That's not a very good shot, to be honest, but that really does sort of give you the idea of the grandeur of the original building, I suppose. And seriously impressive. Well, is for me at least, anyway. Right. Oh, just a final note. This Hilti jackhammer did a really absolutely sterling job. The Hilti TE2000 AVR. And did an absolutely sterling job. I hired it from my local timber merchant, builder's merchant, Howarth Timber. They've got a little subsection for tool hire. And the guy behind the counter there, Johnny, has been really helpful there in Brighouse. And been looking after me very nicely, so I'm grateful for that. But absolutely cracking tool for breaking that concrete, but gave you the flexibility to be able to handle it relatively gently for some parts where, with this step particularly, where I was a little bit nervous, didn't want to go hit too heavily. And this gave me this jackhammer gave me the flexibility to be able to do that. Very, very pleased. So this will help opening things up. I also met today with one of the guys from my plumbers merchants, James Hargreaves. He is the underfloor specialists guy who works for them. And we started having a conversation about the surface area for the underfloor heating that I'm planning on installing, and therefore working out what size of boiler I'm going to need. And it looks as though it's going to be around about the 40 kilowatt size. So, with a few little tips and tricks that he'll be able to enlighten me with, because I've not done underfloor heating yet. So this is going to be the first introduction to it. So baptism of fire, really. But I'm excited about that because underfloor heating is the optimum way to use both gas condensing technology and also the air source, well, in fact, ground source as well, heat pumps, operating as it does at lower temperatures to give you that necessary heat. And it really is the future as far as future builds are concerned, and mandatory regulation in that market can't come soon enough as far as I'm concerned, expressing my green credentials, because at the moment it is required. I can't remember if it's the beginning of this year, 2024, if it's the beginning of next year, 2025, that air source is going to be required in all new builds. And in an ideal world, it would be air source combined with underfloor heating, preferably throughout the house rather than just downstairs, which is what, having spoken to one building company fairly recently, is what they're generally trying to do at the moment, but it's not the optimum way to use the technology as far as I'm concerned. But you know, they're working to the current regulations, so they need tightening, in my opinion. But that's another story for another day. Right, time to go home. I've rambled on a bit. Sorry about that. And I'm hoping the camera work isn't too much like the Blair Witch project, which one of these earlier videos was. And yeah, I'm not very good with that sort of thing. It makes me terribly queasy. Almost like motion sickness. So there we go for the time being. Right, time to relax.